I have to go for training sometime. I have training before class sometime, after class sometime. I come to class late, just a lot of different things with the military. I'm gone for 2 weeks, hey, I'm gonna miss class for 2 weeks, but they were very, very, supportive of my, my situation. So as far as everything else, I don't think, like I said, another university might not have, kept up with me.
I do work. I'm a janitor and I have my work schedule. I also work around on campus as a supplementary instructor, a tutor, and also a supplementary instructor supervisor. When you have many things to balance, it prepares you for the future, for a career, because right now I'm talking about work, that's just a job to me. A career would be something like where I'm going into medicine, be a doctor. That's something that you have to balance a lot of things around. And being able to balance my school and my work together has given me a greater confidence in that I know I'll be successful when I leave college or when I leave the university and go into medical school and become a doctor.
No one said, "You're ridiculous for coming back to school at your age." I was 39 when I came back to school. And no one said, "This is going to be too hard for you, you have 2 kids." I was welcomed, and I was actually somewhat courted. They seemed to understand that I was smart, I had a willingness to learn, that I wanted to be here, and so every step of the way I was encouraged through that enrollment process. When I'm standing there shaking, going, I don't know where I'm supposed to go, how I'm supposed to turn this stuff in, go see your advisor. So I was very much welcomed here, and that to me was the biggest selling point. I'm going to show up on this campus, these people are going to teach me, and they're not going to change their system just because I'm not 18, I'm 39. And my children were actually very small at the time, and so it was a matter of actually the availability of some night classes actually helped. My husband works full-time downtown, so being able to come at night and jostle. Once they got a little older, everybody was in school full-time, then I looked at the course catalog, figured out what I needed to take, and then just adjusted my life around it. It was rather like having a job, and you make it work. If you want to make it work, you can make it work here.
It's very important to be able to balance being a single mother and being able to advance your education. So IU had night classes, IU was extremely affordable, and it worked out the best. And teachers weren't really too angry with me when my kid's sick, I can't make it, I'm really sorry. It was totally okay. I was able to do my homework online, and it's been able to help me get exactly where I want to get in life.
Now the faculty here, honestly, my experience with IUN and the SPIA department, they were very accessible, easy to call, talk to. If you needed one-on-one attention, they were there for that. From the staff, down to the adjunct professors, they were always able to be contacted during their business hours. I deployed, throughout my degree, and they were very cooperative. I talked to them while I was overseas. They just really were, I guess, a good team for me to be a part of. The transition away from the school, actually, I don't even remember. I just remember getting told I had to deploy and withdrawing from all my classes. I was gone for 12 months, so when I came home from Afghanistan, it was a transition, but they were, I just came right back in. It was no transition, honestly. I got back, it was different students. That was probably the biggest transition for me because my class that I came in with, they had all graduated. So it was just me, and people thought I was the new student. I think what made me come back to the university post-deployment, I missed it. I missed my classmates. The professors, like I said, I had talked with a couple of them while I was in country, and they were working with me and getting me back, on track as far as classes I needed. So they were showing that they wanted me to come back, and they were showing their support, so I just felt that it would be an easy transition. So I felt comfortable coming back, and I really wanted to finish my degree because I was, 4 classes away from finishing it.
Coming into college, I did not know that research was even a big part of psychology. I had no idea what research entailed going into all of this, like how much work you put into just looking up all the background research, getting information to even get started with your own projects. I applied for the undergraduate research grant that IUN offers, And that is how I got started with my project, which eventually I submitted to present at the national conference and received the award for. Well, my title of my project was How Gender and Ethnicity Influence Memory for Criminal Events. And basically what I mean by that is I was interested in how a person's own gender and ethnicity would influence how they interpret and then later remember a criminal event. Actually, what led me to be interested in the gender and ethnicity differences is that I found research supporting that, first of all, women are more accurate when they're recalling a criminal event, and that men are more confident but less accurate. You might disagree, but that's what the prior research showed, and also that a person's ethnicity can influence how much they let stereotypes influence their judgment. Anybody just starting out in psychology, freshman, sophomore year, I tell them to get started on research as soon as they have the opportunity, because it's never too early. If I had started, you know, a couple years earlier, I would have had even more time to work on this project. So I definitely encourage anyone to get started in it as soon as they can.
Tamarack was being demolished, so why not pitch the idea of cleaning up an area that's being demolished at home? This is an original wetland, like we didn't know that. We also didn't know how often this area floods. You know, as students, you go into a building and you come out, like you really don't know until you do research. And we found out that the auditorium there was the greatest auditorium around for the longest time. And it held about 600 people. And I mean, it was equivalent to having a theater in Chicago. Like, it was that great. And it brought in a lot of revenue for the campus. But because of where it sat and how low it was in the ground, it was just set up for disaster. And I mean, we wouldn't have known that at all. And then we were able to look through the Calumet archives in the local library and find out just more and more history about this area that any other time we wouldn't have known. So when we presented with this project, we knew that the area was a wetland because of the type of ecosystem we studied. And so then we based our decisions off of that. Like, if it's a wetland, these plants could survive in our space. And then if there's a problem of standing water, we learned about drainage. So we learned about how to create different type of drainage systems for this area. So the dry stream came about. And then we used what we learned and took it to the next level. Back, you know, in the day, you would use a pencil and paper and rulers and stencils and draw up your plan and have to measure it out. Nowadays, if you know how to properly work software, you can digitally create a green space, which is what I did. I took what we needed from it, the measurements we needed from it, and I was able to visually make a green space for everyone to walk through. So they didn't just hear our facts about saving the area and helping out native plants, but they were also able to see our vision come to life. It puts a really positive foot forward. Like, I really thought this was just a project, you know, and I'm just cleaning up and helping out the environment, but it really impacts you and makes you feel like things that you do really make a difference, because, you know, it's just a project, but we got recognized for our project, and it put us in a real world scenario. Like, we had to make something for somebody that wasn't defined at all, and we had to put our own value and our own instincts into it, and it came out awesome. So it just makes me feel like going forward, I can use my education and the knowledge that I've earned and really apply it to real life situations.
I got a lot of experience in the community here, a lot of experience, like I said, with my classes and with the knowledge base. You know, I was able to get a deeper understanding, and even now I work with professors now. We're writing articles for journals, so I'm still able to continue, you know, some of my, you know, relationships with my professors. Even though I'm, you know, now alumni, it's easier to call and say, hey, can you help me with this, or hey, what about this? And they still call you back, they still email you back. We're always gonna be family, you know, so you don't get that, I don't think, in bigger, you know, universities.
IUN has definitely helped me become a better, not only person, but a better social worker and as a whole. Well, I found out that Gary residents, through surveys, really wanted their environment cleaned up. So after doing my survey and my research, I compiled a cleanup project to kind of get people out there, and it kind of snowballed. I didn't expect it to blow up and for so many volunteers to be willing to help. So it definitely has turned into something I didn't expect, but it's because of that project that this even was possible. It felt like it was just before the project at first until I heard stories and I got to know a community that I knew nothing about. And now I'm involved in the sense that I have their stories with me. I have, you know, I see the children and they enjoy the park being clean, and I hear thank yous and community members who are coming out and saying, I've never volunteered for anything, but this is great, I'm so glad I came out. So it's like this force kind of pushing me to keep going, because I don't think I can stop at this point. I enjoy it too much to stop, and the results have been awesome. I'm hoping that I can use what I've learned here to better influence the policies that we have and the problems that we face, especially in Northwest Indiana.
The thing about the learning experience here at IU Northwest that most appeals to me is the professional relationships that you can build with the professors. Here at IU Northwest, since the classes are smaller, you can get to know your professors, build relationships with them, they can become your mentors, and basically be an excellent tool for the rest of your life. The professor here at IU Northwest that I have the most substantial relationship with is Dr. Ellen Charletta. I have worked with her on several projects here for the Gary community, such as CARE, which is Community Action for a Renewed Environment. I worked on a national conversation on toxics in your home with her, as well as establishing and implementing the community garden. I think these current projects that I am working on will aid me in my future endeavors because I've had the chance to network and outreach and engage with the community here, and I might not have had that opportunity had I not come to IU Northwest. And I think it's helped steer me towards the direction of wanting to study environmental affairs as well as criminal justice, and I look forward to continuing these projects and seeing where they will take me in the future. I think my best opportunity here at IU Northwest has been the community garden. That started as a project in fall 2010 for environmental science on how to start a nonprofit and utilize that to establish a community garden. And we actually fulfilled the community garden this spring, and we're going to continue growing and expanding it and hope that we can engage the Gary community and surrounding communities, and we will see the progress of that in years to come.
I have recommended this campus to a few of my friends and colleagues and family who are actually planning on coming because they've seen my experience and how much I love my campus. I love IUN. I can't leave here. I love Gary. I love what this campus has done for me, and I hope that others can experience IUN as I have. So I'm just very proud. I'm very proud of my school.